Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Rarest coins. Today we're diving deep into the story of one of the most talked about coins in recent numismatic history, the 1964 D. Lincoln penny. Rumors have circulated that one of these coins sold for a staggering $1.8 million. But is it true? What's the story behind this common-looking penny? And could you be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it? Stick around, because this video is packed with fascinating history, surprising facts, and the truth about whether your 1964 D penny could change your life. Let's begin with a little background. The Lincoln cent has been a staple of American coinage since 1909, when it was first introduced to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature the face of an actual person, and it replaced the Indian head penny. The original design by Victor D. Brenner featured Lincoln's bust on the obverse and two wheat stalks on the reverse, giving it the nickname the Wheat Penny. But here's the catch. By 1964, the wheat reverse design had already been retired. The Mint had introduced the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. That means that any genuine 1964 penny should have the Lincoln Memorial on the back, not the wheat stalks. So where does the 1964 D wheat penny fit into this story? Well, here's where things get interesting. The Denver Mint produced over 3.7 billion pennies in 1964. That's billion with a B. So in general, a 1964 D penny isn't rare at all. They're extremely common and typically worth just face value unless they're in uncirculated condition or have some kind of error. But collectors and historians have long speculated about a possible transitional error, a 1964 D penny that was accidentally struck with the old wheat reverse design instead of the new Lincoln Memorial. If a coin like that exists, it would be an extreme rarity, a one-of-a-kind mint error that could fetch a massive price at auction. We're talking hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars depending on condition, provenance, and collector interest. So far, no officially authenticated 1964 D wheat reverse penny has been confirmed. But that hasn't stopped collectors from dreaming. And here's where the $1.8 million figure comes into play. In recent years, stories have circulated about a supposed 1964 D penny with a wheat reverse being sold or valued at over $1.8 million due to its rarity. However, most experts agree that these claims are more urban legend than verified fact. Still, the excitement is real. And the possibility, however slim, that one of these coins slipped out of the mint makes this one of the most mysterious pennies in U.S. coinage history. Combine that with the fact that 1964 was a chaotic year for the U.S. Mint, as it was transitioning materials and increasing production to meet coin shortages, and you've got a perfect storm for a mint error to occur. Even without the mythical wheat reverse, the 1964 D penny can still be valuable in the right condition. Coins that are graded mint state 65 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially if they have rich red luster and no signs of wear. Some double die errors and off-center strikes from this year have also brought in impressive prices at auction. So here's the bottom line. If you've got a 1964 D penny, especially one that looks unusual or different, don't toss it aside. Check it carefully. Look at the reverse design. Examine it for doubling, misstrikes, or other oddities. And if you think you might have something special, have it evaluated by a professional coin grading service. In the world of coin collecting, the rarest treasures are often hiding in plain sight. And while the $1.8 million 1964 D wheat penny might still be a mystery, it reminds us that history, craftsmanship, and curiosity all come together in every coin we hold. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into coin history, values, and the amazing stories behind everyday money. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin in your pocket change, and let us know what topics you'd like to see in future videos. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck checking your change. You never know, the next $1 million penny might be hiding in your jar. Let me know if you want a shorter version or if you want the same kind of video for another coin. Welcome back to the channel, coin hunters, history lovers, and everyone out there hoping their pocket change holds a secret fortune. Today, we're diving into one of the most mysterious and talked about pennies in modern collecting, the 1971 Lincoln penny. Now, you may have seen headlines or heard rumors about a 1971 penny that's supposedly worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Sounds too crazy to be true, right? But as always with coins, the truth is often buried beneath the surface. So what's the real story behind the 1971 Lincoln cent? What makes it valuable? What should you be looking for? And is that $1 million rumor total fiction, or is there a grain of truth in it? Let's break it all down Piece by piece. To start, let's talk history. The Lincoln penny was introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and it replaced the Indian head cent. From 1909 to 1958, the coin featured the famous wheat ears design on the reverse, which collectors now call the wheat penny. In 1959, that wheat design was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial reverse to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. So by 1971, the wheat design was long gone, and every Lincoln penny minted that year featured the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. That means there's no such thing as a regular issue 1971 wheat penny. And that's where the mystery begins. Because over the years, collectors have whispered about rare transitional error coins struck using old dies by mistake. The idea of a 1971 penny with a wheat reverse should be impossible, but if one were to exist, it would be a mint error of historic proportions. And it would almost certainly be worth a fortune. Some reports have claimed that such a coin might exist, and in private collector circles, there have been stories about a 1971 wheat reverse penny selling for up to $1.5 million. But let's be clear right now, no such coin has ever been publicly verified or authenticated. So that $1.5 million price tag? It's based on speculation and the sheer impossibility of such a coin existing in the first place. But here's the thing. That doesn't mean 1971 Lincoln pennies can't be valuable. In fact, some of them are worth a lot more than face value, especially when they have mint errors or are in pristine condition. First, let's talk about how many were made. In 1971, the U.S. Mint struck over 1.9 billion Lincoln cents in Philadelphia, over 2.9 billion in Denver, and about 525 million in San Francisco for circulation. That's a lot of coins. So the average 1971 penny is not rare. But it's the details that matter. For example, collectors pay big money for coins in high grade. If you have a 1971 penny graded MS67 or higher with full red luster, you could be looking at hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on demand in the grading company. Especially for the Philadelphia minted 1971 coins, high-grade examples are surprisingly hard to find due to weak strikes and common surface marks from mass production. Now, let's talk about errors. This is where the real money is. Some of the most valuable 1971 pennies are double die obverse, particularly from the San Francisco Mint. These coins show dramatic doubling on the lettering and date, especially on the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If you find one of these in good condition, you could be looking at a value of several hundred to several $1,000s, depending on grade. Another potential winner is the off-metal strike. There have been a few documented cases where a Lincoln penny was struck on a dime planchet or even on a foreign coin blank. These kinds of errors are incredibly rare, but when found and authenticated, they can sell for big money at auction. And let's not forget the proof coins. In 1971, the San Francisco Mint also produced proof pennies for collectors. These are struck using specially polished dies and are not intended for circulation. If you come across a 1971 S-proof penny with deep cameo contrast and no visible flaws, it could fetch a high price among serious collectors. So now we come back to the question that brought us here. Could a 1971 Lincoln penny really be worth $1.5 million? The honest answer is probably not, unless it's a one-of-a-kind, previously unknown, historically significant mint error. But could a 1971 penny be worth hundreds or even thousands? Absolutely, especially if it's an error coin or a high-grade specimen. And let's be real, that's what makes coin collecting so exciting. That chance, however small, that something rare, something historic, something extremely valuable could be hiding in plain sight, in a pocket, a drawer, or a forgotten jar of coins. That's why collectors keep looking. That's why they check every date, inspect every mint mark, and pay close attention to every detailed SO. If you've got a 1971 Lincoln penny, take a second look. Check the date. Look for the mint mark. Examine it under good lighting or even a magnifier. Look for doubling, off-center strikes, or signs that something isn't quite normal. And if it looks special, don't guess. Get it evaluated by a trusted coin grading company like PCGS or NGC. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video inspired you to dig through your change and start looking at pennies a little differently. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into rare coins, coin values, and the hidden history in your pocket. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare penny or if you want us to cover another coin in a future episode. Until next time, keep hunting, stay curious, and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like help writing the title, thumbnail text, or video description to go with this script. Welcome back to the channel, fellow coin collectors, history lovers, and everyone fascinated by the idea that a simple penny could be worth a life-changing amount of money. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1976 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that, at first glance, looks like ordinary pocket change, but just might be hiding some secrets worth serious money. Believe it or not, one version of this penny has been rumored to be worth as much as $1.3 million, that's right. 1 cent. From 1976. Allegedly sold for over $1 million. But what's the story behind that claim? Is there any truth to it? And what exactly should you be looking for in your own collection that might make your penny incredibly valuable? Let's break it all down. First, let's look at the historical background. The Lincoln penny was introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was designed by Victor David Brenner and became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. For the first 50 years, the reverse showed 2 wheat stalks, giving rise to the nickname wheat penny. However, in 1959, that wheat design was replaced with the image of the Lincoln Memorial to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. From that point onward, all Lincoln pennies featured the memorial on the reverse, and that includes the 1976 D penny.so. If you hear someone mention a 1976 D wheat penny, your collector instincts should kick in. The wheat reverse was officially retired in 1958. A 1976 penny with a wheat reverse would be considered an impossible coin, unless it was a rare mint error, possibly a transitional design struck using an outdated die by mistake. These kinds of minting accidents are incredibly rare, but they have happened in other years and denominations. And when they do, they can be worth an absolute fortune. That brings us to the $1.3 million rumor. Over the years, stories have popped up online and in coin collecting circles about a supposed 1976 D. Lincoln penny that sold for $1.3 million at a private auction or to a mysterious buyer. Most of these claims come with very little proof, and no major coin grading company has confirmed the existence of such a coin. So while the million-dollar figure makes for great headlines and grabs attention, the reality is that this particular story is more legend than fact. But don't walk away just yet. Because even if the $1.3 million version isn't confirmed, that doesn't mean your 1976 D penny is worthless. In fact, many 1976 D Lincoln cents carry value far beyond their 1 cent face value, especially if they're in excellent condition or contain certain rare minting errors. Let's talk about numbers. In 1976, the Denver Mint produced more than 4.2 billion Lincoln pennies. Yes, billion. So the average 1976 D penny is very common. But here's what makes a difference. Condition and errors. A normal circulated 1976 D penny is usually worth face value. But in uncirculated condition, meaning no scratches, no wear, bright red luster, the value increases significantly. For example, a 1976 D penny graded MS66 red by PCGS can be worth around $30 to $50. Get one graded MS67 red, and now you're looking at $300 or more. These high-grade coins are tough to find because most coins from that year were heavily circulated and show wear, but the real jackpots come from error coins. And there are a few known errors from 1976 D that collectors are willing to pay a premium for. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die. This occurs when the coin is struck by a die that has a slight misalignment or doubling in the design. A 1976 D. Lincoln penny with strong doubling on the date or the word Liberty could fetch several $100s, possibly more if it's in mint state condition. Then you have off-center strikes. If the coin wasn't perfectly aligned when struck, part of the design may be missing or the image might be shifted. The more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. A 1976 D penny that is 50% off-center but still shows the date and mint mark could easily be worth several $100s. Another rare possibility is a 1976 D. Lincoln penny struck on the wrong metal. In 1976, all pennies were supposed to be struck on copper-coated zinc planchets. But occasionally, a blank from another coin, like a dime or a foreign coin, ends up in the wrong machine. If you find a 1976 D penny that looks unusually light, silvery, or odd in any way, it might be struck on the wrong planchet. These are extremely rare, but when authenticated, they can bring in thousands of dollars at auction. Now here's one more thing to think about. In 1976, the United States was celebrating its bicentennial. Special coinage was produced for quarters, half dollars, and dollars, all featuring dual dates and commemorative designs. But not the penny. The Lincoln cent remained unchanged, which means a 1976 D penny is just a regular cent from a special year in U.S. history. That fact alone makes collectors more interested in preserving high-quality examples of the coin, especially those tied to mint errors or special varieties. To sum it all up, no, there's no officially confirmed 1976 D. Lincoln wheat penny worth $1.3 million. But the story still holds value. It reminds us that even the most ordinary coin might hold an extraordinary secret. And for the serious collector, the 1976 D penny offers multiple paths to real value, whether through condition, mint errors, or historical significance. Before you toss that penny into your coin jar, take a closer look. You might just find a piece of hidden history. And who knows, maybe one day the myth of the $1 million 1976 D penny will become reality if the right error coin finally surfaces. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or just plain fascinating, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into rare coins, numismatic mysteries, and the hidden value of everyday pocket change. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across a rare penny, and let us know what coin you'd like us to explore next. Until next time, keep hunting, stay sharp, and happy collecting. Would you like me to help you write a catchy title, thumbnail text, or YouTube video description to go with this script? Welcome back to the channel, fellow collectors and coin enthusiasts. Rarest coins today, we're diving deep into a coin that's surrounded by rumors, mystery, and some jaw-dropping numbers. We're talking about the 1971 Lincoln penny, a coin that's been at the center of online buzz due to a claim that one rare version could be worth an astonishing $1.6 million. Now you might be asking, how can a 1-cent coin from 1971 be worth that much money? Could it be a mistake from the US Mint? A hidden treasure? Or is this just another collector myth that exploded on the internet? Stick around because we're going to explore the real history of the 1971 Lincoln penny, what makes some of them valuable, and whether that $1.6 million story has any truth to it. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. From 1909 until 1958, the reverse side of the coin featured 2 wheat stalks. These are what we know today as wheat pennies. They're iconic, they're collectible, and they represent the early history of the Lincoln cent. But in 1959, to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint changed the reverse design from wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial. This design ran all the way through 2008. So by the time we get to 1971, the wheat design was long gone. Officially, no wheat pennies were minted after 1958. Why are some people calling a 1971 penny a wheat penny? And where is this $1.6 million value coming from? This is where things get interesting. Over the years, stories have surfaced online about a supposed 1971 penny that was struck with a wheat reverse, a design that should have been discontinued more than a decade earlier. If such a coin does exist, it would be what collectors call a transitional error, a coin struck using a mismatched or outdated die. And if that happened in 1971, it would be one of the rarest and most valuable mistakes in modern minting history. According to some online sources, one of these so-called 1971 wheat pennies was sold privately for an unbelievable $1.6 million. But here's the thing. There is no official auction record of this coin. No confirmation from grading services like PCGS or NGC. No photographs, no registry listings, nothing solid to prove that this coin exists or that the sale ever happened. But that doesn't mean the 1971 penny isn't valuable. In fact, some of these coins, even the normal ones, can still be worth quite a bit of money, especially if they have rare errors or are in top-grade condition. Let's talk about that for a moment. In 1971, Lincoln cents were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, which had no mint mark, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with an S. The coins from Denver and Philadelphia were made for circulation, while the San Francisco Mint produced special proof coins for collectors. If you've got a regular 1971 penny in circulated condition, chances are it's worth just a cent. But if you find one in mint state, with its original red color and no wear, the value increases dramatically. A 1971 penny graded MS66 red can sell for $50 to $100. A coin graded MS67 red might be worth $500 or more, and MS68 red examples are extremely rare and can go for over $1,000 at auction. Now let's talk about errors. This is where things really start to heat up. The most famous error from the 1971 Lincoln cent is the double die obverse. This is when the die used to strike the coin had a doubling in the design. If you find one of these, you'll see clear doubling on the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and even the date itself. These coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the condition. Then there are off-center strikes. If a coin wasn't properly aligned when struck, it might have part of the design missing or shifted. A 1971 penny that's 50% off-center with the full date visible can sell for several $100s. Another extremely valuable error is a coin struck on the wrong planchet. For example, if a penny was accidentally struck on a dime blank or a foreign coin planchet, it would be smaller, lighter, and possibly silver in color. These types of off-metal errors are incredibly rare and can bring in several $1,000s when authenticated. There are also die cracks, cuds, and other minting anomalies that collectors look for. These may not be worth millions, but depending on the severity and rarity, they can still bring in a good return. Now, back to that $1.6 million story. Could it ever be real? Is there a possibility that a 1971 penny exists with a wheat reverse design or some other unknown error so rare that it commands $1 million price tag? Here's the truth. It's unlikely, but not impossible. The US Mint has made major mistakes in the past. Coins have been discovered with mismatched designs, incorrect metal compositions, and dramatic minting errors that defy logic. When these coins surface and are authenticated, they can become legends and fetch record-breaking prices. While we don't have proof that a 1971 wheat penny sold for $1.6 million, the story serves as an important reminder. It tells us that even the most common-looking coin can hide secrets. That errors happen. That history is full of surprises. And that in the world of coin collecting, it's always worth taking a second look. So what should you do? Start by checking your 1971 pennies. Look for doubling, off-center strikes, odd colors, or unusual weights. If the coin looks perfect and uncirculated, consider getting it graded. If it looks like an error or seems off in any way, have it evaluated by a professional. Coin collecting isn't just about finding money. It's about discovering pieces of history. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the stories behind each design, and the excitement of never knowing what might turn up next. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on rare coins and valuable finds. Let us know in the comments if you've ever found a rare Lincoln cent or what coin you want us to cover next. Until next time, keep searching your change, stay curious, and as always, happy collecting. If you'd like, I can also write a matching video title, YouTube description, and thumbnail text to help your video go viral. Would you like that? Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors, history lovers, and everyone chasing that next rare find hiding in plain sight. Today, we're talking about one of the most shocking stories in the world of US coins, the 1984 Lincoln penny. You might be thinking, wait a minute, how could a penny from the 80s be worth anything more than a cent? What if I told you that a rare version of this coin has been rumored to sell for up to $1.4 million? That's right, a 1984 penny, 1 cent, from your pocket change, possibly worth over $1 million. So what's the story? How is that even possible? And should you be checking your change right now? Let's get into it.to understand the value and mystery behind the 1984 penny. We have to go back a bit in history. The Lincoln cent was introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It replaced the Indian head cent and was designed by Victor D. Brenner. For the first 50 years, the reverse of the coin featured 2 wheat stalks, which gave it the nickname, the wheat penny. In 1959, the reverse was changed to the Lincoln Memorial to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. That means by 1984, any Lincoln penny should have the Lincoln Memorial on the back, not the wheat stalks. So when you hear people refer to a 1984 wheat penny, it immediately raises eyebrows. By that year, the wheat design had been out of circulation for 25 years. So where did the rumor of a 1984 wheat penny come from? It all started with reports of mint errors, transitional strikes, and off-metal coins that somehow got past US Mint quality control. While there is no officially confirmed 1984 penny with a wheat reverse, there have been whispers of experimental strikes, unconfirmed sightings, and even online posts claiming someone found one and sold it for as much as $1.4 million. Now let's be clear. As of now, there has been no verified sale of a 1984 wheat reverse penny for $1.4 million. The story is likely a mixture of urban legend, wishful thinking, and viral internet hype. But the idea isn't completely impossible. Mistakes at the US Mint do happen, and transitional errors, coins struck with the wrong design or wrong metal, have occurred in other years. That said, the 1984 penny does have legitimate value in the coin collecting world, especially when it comes to error coins. One of the most famous and real varieties from this year is the 1984 doubled ear Lincoln cent. This is a coin where Lincoln's earlobe appears doubled due to a die error during the minting process. The doubling is clear and strong, and collectors love it. These 1984 doubled ear pennies, even without a mint mark, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition and whether they're graded by services like PCGS or NGC. If you have a 1984 D version with the doubling and it's in high grade, you're definitely looking at a valuable coin. Not $1.4 million, but still a nice payday for a penny. Now, let's talk about condition. Most 1984 D pennies were made from copper-plated zinc and produced in the hundreds of millions. In fact, over 5.5 billion were minted that year. So if your coin is worn, scratched, or corroded, it's likely worth only face value. But uncirculated examples, especially with that red, mint luster, can fetch a premium. The real money, though, comes from rare mint errors. That includes off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and transitional planchet errors. These are the types of flaws that make collectors go crazy. If one day, a genuine 1984 D penny with a wheat reverse ever surfaces and is authenticated, it would be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And yes, it could be worth well into the six or even seven figures. So what should you do? First, grab your change jar and look through those 1984 pennies. Focus on the ones with the D mint mark for Denver. Look closely for doubling on Lincoln's ear. Check the overall condition. The shinier and less worn, the better. And always flip the coin. If by some miracle you ever find one with the wheat reverse, stop everything, take a deep breath, and get it authenticated immediately. Remember, most stories of million-dollar pennies are exaggerated or unconfirmed. But in the world of coin collecting, stranger things have happened. Coins thought to be impossible have turned up in pocket change before. That's what keeps collectors excited. That small, exciting chance that something extraordinary is hiding in an ordinary place. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more stories about rare coins, US mint history, and the hidden value in your change. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a 1984 D penny with any kind of error, or let us know what coin you want us to explore next. Until next time, keep checking your change, stay curious, and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like a version optimized for TikTok or Shorts, or if you'd like a thumbnail title or description for this video. Welcome back to the channel, fellow collectors, history buffs, and anyone who's ever looked at the coins in their pocket and wondered if one might be worth a fortune. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about coins in modern American numismatics, the 1979 D Lincoln penny. There's a growing buzz around this coin, with claims floating around that one rare version could be worth up to $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 1-cent coin from 1979, minted in Denver, allegedly worth over $1 million. Sounds insane, right? But as with all things in the world of rare coins, there's always more to the story than meets the EYE.so. What's the real history behind the 1979 D Lincoln penny? What makes it valuable? Are the million-dollar rumors even remotely true? And what should you be looking for in your own change that could make you rich? Let's break it all down. First, let's set the historical scene. The Lincoln cent was introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first regularly circulating U.S. coin to feature a real person. From 1909 to 1958, the reverse showed 2 wheat ears, which gave it the nickname Wheat Penny. But in 1959, the U.S. Mint changed the design. The wheat ears were replaced with the Lincoln Memorial, in honor of the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. That design remained in place until 2008. So by 1979, all Lincoln pennies, including the one minted in Denver, had the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, not the wheat stocks. So let's clear one thing up right away. There is no official 1979 D wheat penny. If anyone claims to have one, it would have to be a highly unusual error, possibly a coin struck with an old wheat reverse die by mistake, which would be almost impossible 2 decades after the design was retired. But if it happened, it would be one of the most valuable mint errors in U.S. history. That brings us to the rumors. Over the last few years, stories have surfaced online and in collector communities about a supposed 1979 D Lincoln penny that sold for $1.2 million at a private auction. Most of these claims are unverified, and no grading service like PCGS or NGC has authenticated such a coin. But even though the million-dollar story may be exaggerated or speculative, it's not entirely without merit. Because there are some legitimate reasons why certain 1979 D pennies can be extremely valuable, let's talk about how many of these coins were made. The Denver Mint struck over 4.1 billion Lincoln pennies in 1979. That makes the average coin very common. Most 1979 D pennies you find in circulation are worth exactly 1 cent. But as always, the value is in the details and in the condition. Coins that have never been in circulation, called uncirculated or mint state coins, are worth far more. A 1979 D penny graded MS-66 read by PCGS can be worth $50 to $100. If you find one graded MS-67 red or higher, that value jumps to several $100s. These high-grade examples are very hard to find because most coins from that era were mass-produced and handled roughly. Now let's get to the real money, mint errors. That's where things get exciting. Some 1979 D pennies are worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars because of rare minting mistakes. Let's go over a few examples you should be watching for. First, the double die. A double die occurs when the coin's die shifts slightly between strikes, creating a doubling effect on the design. Look closely at the date, the word liberty, and the phrase "I in God we trust." If you see clear doubling, especially on a coin in high grade, it could be worth hundreds or more. Next, look for off-center strikes. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned during the minting process. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. An off-center 1979 D penny could sell for $100 to $500 depending on how dramatic the error is. Another valuable error is the wrong planchet error. Every US coin is supposed to be struck on a specific metal blank called a planchet. But sometimes, a penny gets struck on the wrong metal, like a dime planchet, which is smaller and made of different material. A 1979 D penny struck on a dime blank would be extremely rare and could be worth thousands of dollars. There are also clipped planchets, die cracks, and lamination errors to watch for. Any unusual feature that makes your coin stand out could potentially increase its value significantly, especially if it's authenticated by a top grading service. And let's not forget proof coins. While the Denver Mint did not produce proof coins in 1979, the San Francisco Mint did. So if you ever find a shiny, mirror-like 1979 penny with an S mint mark, that's a proof coin. These were originally sold to collectors and not meant for circulation. While most are worth a few dollars, high-grade examples can be worth quite a bit more. So what about that $1.2 million claim? Is there a secret 1979 D Lincoln penny out there worth that kind of money? Officially, no. No such coin has ever been publicly confirmed or sold through a major auction house. But that doesn't mean rare coins can't reach astronomical prices. If a previously unknown error or variety were discovered and authenticated, something like a 1979 D penny with a wheat reverse or an experimental strike, then yes, it could absolutely command a massive price tag. In the world of coin collecting, new discoveries happen all the time. A coin you overlook today could become a sensation tomorrow. That's why collectors never stop looking. That's why change jars, old coin rolls, and inherited collections are full of hidden potential. So here's what you should do. Check your 1979 D pennies closely. Look for errors. Pay attention to the strike quality and color. If a coin looks different, odd, or especially sharp and uncirculated, get it evaluated. Submit it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. Because you never know, you might just be holding something worth far more than 1 cent. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or fascinating, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into rare coins, coin values, and the hidden history behind the money we carry every day. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare penny or if you want us to cover a specific coin in an upcoming video. Until next time, keep checking your change, stay curious, and happy collecting. Would you like help creating a matching YouTube title, video description, or thumbnail caption for this video script?